two, one. All right, everybody, welcome to our podcast, dealing with the elephants in the room. And we have a really fun topic today. Um, when you hear the topic, it's kind of maybe like, what are they talking about? It's called knowledge by osmosis. And again, we have our buddies here joining us. And by now, I think everybody knows these gentlemen, but go ahead and say hello anyways. Aaron, you start us off, buddy.
Hello, Aaron Bomer, Kinjikan Dojo in Vista, California. I train with Ken Macbeth. I am a member of the AAA testing committee out here in California for our region, as you guys are as well. So thank you for having me.
Great, thank you, buddy. Steve?
Oh, Steve Wasserman, Seal Beach, California, at Beach Cities Aikido, part of the Aikido Association of America for many, many, many years. And glad that we can talk about things that we usually don't talk about.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. And of course, Eugene Morales from Pro Sessions Aikido in Upland, California. And also, just like my buddies here, part of the AAA. And we're all on the chess committee there. And so let's just get into it here. We were talking a little bit before, getting prepped up here, so everybody seems focused and ready to get into it. So the topic today, as I mentioned, is knowledge by osmosis. And the first topic is overview of what is meant by knowledge by osmosis and why it doesn't work. So I'm going to go ahead and clarify what I mean by this knowledge by osmosis. And I have my cheat sheets here, so I say it just right. Knowledge by osmosis is the belief that through ranking, you will gain effective knowledge and skills like leadership, communication, organization, time management, training strategies and tactics based on current science, goal setting, how to learn, how to study, business, marketing, team building, without having to study, practice, and refine this knowledge. That it just, as you go up ranking, this all of a sudden just, I have it. And that's the beginning opening here. So Steve's on my screen right now, so that means you're first, buddy. What do you think about that? Yeah, he's got props. I love it. Good job. Oh, there we go.
Okay, wow. Okay, to break into this subject, I think it's so important to talk about, because as we go up in the ranks or as we visit different dojos, we look at the people that are teaching or we're training with, and like, what's their background? Where do they come from? How come they're such a great teacher? Or why is this person such a lousy teacher and he's a teacher? You know, where do they come from? I think that when you first get each degree, as you climb the ranks, obviously you're learning. If you're putting your heart and soul and everything into it, you're gaining knowledge. You're emulating your sensei. You're emulating the upper teaching committee, and that's how I kind of came to that. Then all of a sudden you're a black belt, and then all of a sudden you go up the ranks as a black belt, and you find yourself being a teacher. Well, how we found ourselves being an instructor of our own dojo, either we fall into it or we totally prepared for it. There's different reasons how that happened. For me, I kind of fell into it. I always enjoyed teaching because I taught in my professional life, and I really enjoy it. But I wasn't growing up in my Aikido world, I'm going to be a sensei one day. I just loved Aikido, and I just wanted to learn. That was it. But I think when you're all of a sudden in that position of leadership, your subconscious and your conscious mind has to change, and you have to put yourself into that role. And you can say to yourself, you fake it till you make it, which I think there's some validity to that. It's also the self-fulfilling prophecy where I'm a teacher, I'm a sensei. So you start believing in it enough and you'll make it. But as you start believing in it, you better be doing things to feed yourself, to feed the dojo, to feed your knowledge. So it just doesn't happen by, you put a book underneath the pillow and you absorb it and you get an A+ in the morning, which I thought you could do that, but I tried it, didn't work.
Nowadays they use the little headsets you put on, meditation music, and you wake up and you got it.
But like I said, and you learn by the school of hard knocks. I've learned a lot, and if I didn't know something, I would ask. but it wasn't something that just, some things came to me really easy, some things didn't, and I had to go seek for assistance with that. So that's kind of my opinion, with that.
Very good. How about you, Aaron?
I think it comes down to education, experience, and opportunities. I think is really what we're talking about, what I think it boils down to. And what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So just by having, we kind of talked about this in one of the other podcasts, but, there's different areas of study or practice or expertise and whatnot. And a lot of times with the rank in an organization, you're talking about the expertise of that organization or that form. But that doesn't necessarily translate into organizational experience, leadership, leading multiple people and things like that. These are different skills. So to have a martial skill set and to be very proficient in that martial art and to instruct and teach that martial art, I think is one thing. Operating a business, keeping it solvent, maintaining a student body, these could be different things. We can do both, but just because we're high ranked doesn't mean that we're experts in all areas. So if you had somebody at the highest level of any art, it doesn't make them a successful business person, right? And it doesn't, with that, it doesn't nor does it make them the highest level of practitioner either. So rank does not necessarily equal a high level of practice, and it doesn't equal a level of business acumen and a level of leadership in and of itself. Now, by obtaining that rank, most martial arts schools will put people in teaching positions long before they get up to a senior rank, and by getting that experience and that opportunity, then at some point you end up getting that education, and then you're able to some degree move forward in a leadership position that you've attained from the rank that you've gotten based on the process that you followed. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that you're a successful business person and you can keep the numbers in the black. And it doesn't mean that you're a successful organizational leader. These are kind of different skill sets. So I think it's speaking to your point, which is, you can't just by osmosis get to a point where you're a high level leader because you've achieved a technical level of skill.
Right.
Is that what we're getting at, maybe?
Yes, that's where I'm kicking the tires a little bit on. As I outlined those areas, the leadership, communication, all of those, I was actually realizing that about 70% of those things, all the way up to where business, marketing, and stuff like that, there's two separate knowledges here. There's the knowledge of technique, the knowledge that I had articulated, and then the last part maybe we put as knowledge as business. And I'll just call it, just for a reference point, we'll call it other knowledge. And as you were alluding to, I do believe that you can't get that knowledge or perfect that knowledge. You can't have, you cannot know something without having knowledge of it, right? And there's a statement that says, you don't know what you don't know. And that's very accurate, a statement.
Sounds like a Don Rumsfeld.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yes. I think it also boils down, what I'm moving towards is that in order to have knowledge about something, you have to study it. Yeah, you can't just through the osmosis get it. And to make it effective, you have to continually study, practice, and refine that knowledge. And the key word in my opening statement is effective knowledge. Because you can have knowledge in something, but it could be very, mediocre knowledge, it can be incorrect knowledge, or it can even be outdated knowledge. And what I wanted to do is, tackling this one is, it seems that when we look at a ranking person and they go in and do something, we just, okay, they have that knowledge. But in actuality, maybe not so. And I wanted to tackle a couple examples, and you guys can weigh in on it, okay? So the first example is at the dojo, you have a special project that needs to be done on organizing a large group task. And you know, okay, one person has to be in charge of it. And you have an option. You know, you want to have a person high ranking and has very good skill sets that match what needs to be done. But we don't get that person because they're not there, right? So you have a choice to place a high ranking student that does not have the qualifications to be in charge, or you place a person who maybe 6Q with excellent qualifications to be in charge. Which one do you feel personally you would go for? Or better yet, which one do you think usually everything leans to? And so, Aaron, since you went second, you get to go first on this one, buddy.
Well, it's a management question, and the short answer is that a manager wants to give a task to the easiest person he can give it to, and he or she. So you might have a workhorse that you've given 15 other tasks to, and you'll give them the 16th task because you know they're going to get it done on time because you asked them to. And you know it's not fair. You know that you're overburdening this resource, this person that's working really hard for you, but you also know at the same time that they are the one that's going to get it done. So it happens every day in business. And I think the simple question or the simple answer is, well, you give it to the person that'll get it done. But I think what you're alluding to in the dojo is that now there's some, politics based on rank structure and assignment of duties where, and that gets into, I think, a sort of an entirely almost separate sort of line of discussion. Almost.
Yeah, if I can interject, it's actually I see this a lot. I'll go to be invited to other styles of arts, and I'll go in there and we talk about it a little bit, and it's the same battle that most dojos seem to want to put the high-ranking person in charge of it, right? Because who wants to have a lower-ranking person begin to have authority or begin to put people into things that are higher ranking? And so, what do you think, Steve? So I just take that hot potato and Aaron, I throw it to Aaron. Aaron's throwing it to Steve. What do you think, Steve?
Well, absolutely agree with Aaron. Total management decisions that you have to make. But in my dojo, because I'm so young and there's only so many ranks, whoever's the most qualified when it came to setting up different seminars and travel, I gave it to Michelle. She's a lower ranking person. She does a phenomenal job with that. That's her skill set. She's a basic travel agent. She's phenomenal. I can't give it to anybody else because they're married or they're too busy. I'll skip over them, rank or not. So when it comes to tasks in my dojo, I don't look at rank at all. I look who's the most qualified.
Very good.
But when we start talking about Shihan's coming in town, what do we do? Who's going to pick him up from the airport and all that? What rank person am I going to give it to? Am I going to give it to Joe Schmo, who I hope he's going to be there? He's always late. His wife's always wants this. He's got a family, and he's late at the airport. No, I'm going to give it to the most responsible one who I think you have to make executive decisions, say you're doing it. And there's no ego in my dojo. And if we start seeing that because of rank ego, which is sometimes a natural progression if the leader lets that happen, all right, whoever does the best. Who's handling the website with my computer? Am I going to give it to a guy who works all the time and knows nothing about computers, but he wants to do it? No, I'm going to give it to the guy most qualified who does computers all the time. That's just what it is. So
it seems kind of like logical, no? That I'm going to find the best person in there.
And when it came to some of the decisions we were talking about with this and earlier, I always think to myself, complexity is the enemy of execution. Keep it simple. So when we're starting off, just keep it simple. And also, reasons come first, answers come second. So you got to do something, you may not know how to do it, just you got the reason. Don't worry about the answer of doing it. It will come to you if you have the passion. If you have the passion to do anything, it will come to you. With no experience or not. You will learn, but you got passion, you can do anything. I really believe in that.
That's good. Let me throw a second one, a little bit more problematic. So this is about the osmosis thing. Okay, let's go. So your sensei, we're looking at a dojo's primary teaching style is to show the technique without any explanation. They demonstrate, and then it is up to the students to work out how to perform the technique. There is a little guidance, but it is still very minimal. Now we know this is well documented style of teaching. It's very traditional and has a long history of how to teach. Instructors in the Kaido dojo are usually required to teach just like their sensei. So now here's the rub. We know through scientific research, this is probably one of the least most effective ways to teach. It's true that some things cannot be taught through verbal explanation, but this is the exception, not the rule. So the question here is, why would a sensei choose to make this primary way to be their teaching style? And why do the students continue to follow this type of teaching? So if you need clarification on anything, that was a big chunk. Go for it, Steve.
Okay. So
yeah, I want to get next time. Aaron and I, we're going to have our props.
oh, that's a great question. Because
I don't have one. Yeah, I'm looking around. I don't have a prop.
Yeah, where's my props? Steve,
Aaron, you got the biggest prop here, so come on, look behind you.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fight here. I've seen both style of teaching. I think we came from somebody who a little of both. You know, our sensei was very technical, but yet he left it at times, and we had to kind of figure things out. I've gone to other dojos. I went to a Steven Seagal seminar a few times, different ones, and they don't talk. They're just, they show it once, and that's it. I don't like that. I'm a kind of a kinesthetic, auditory, visual guy. I got to have it all. So with me particularly, and I know most people, I don't think it's a good methodology of teaching. I like explanation. I think there's different times you can show the explanation. You show it once, second time, show it fast, show it slow. Then maybe the fourth time, get into explanation of what the biomechanics, KREW, what are some of the basic principles. But you got to be explanatory to students. I mean, they got ADD as it is with all this computer crap that everybody's doing every minute. So I think we got to be very clear of our what we have to do, because we have so much limited time. We don't have time to just be up there, show it, they don't get it, and move on. You're not going to have a very distinct dojo like that.
Very good.